That.
Welcome back to OpenLine. Talking finances, talking planning for retirement. Happy to have with us John Navin, investment advisor from John Navin and Associates. We want to talk a little bit about math, the math of all this.
Yeah. All right. Math story. When we're talking about reducing risk and volatility, because volatility is here to stay. And people think sometimes, well, I need to take on these big risks. It sounds good to talk about it on the water cooler. This may get hard without a dry erase board and a magic marker, but we've seen portfolios go up 50% in a year, right? And we've seen them go down 40% in a year.
Right.
All right, so a simple, let's say I had $100,000 and my portfolio went up 50%. If it went up 50%, what do I have? 150,000, right?
Right.
Let's say it goes down 40% the following year. So if I have a positive 50 and a negative 40, what does that equate to? 10.
See, it's a trick question. You would think you have 110, but you don't.
But
is that right?
Kind of. You're
okay. So I'll say 110,000.
But let's just say, but we're getting 10%, right? So if you talk to anybody, any broker in the world, or anybody that said, "Hey, you gained 50 and you lost 40%, you gained 10%."
Right.
If that's math.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's do the math. If I had $100,000 and I went to 150 because I gained 50, that's 150,000. If I lose 40%, 40% of 150 is $60,000, right? So you actually have 90.
Okay.
How can I get an average of 10% and only have $90,000?
Right.
And we didn't even talk about fees yet. So math and volatility, we could spend a whole hour talking about. People don't, they're like, wait a minute, how does that work?
Well, that's why people, I think, are scared.
Yeah.
That's what keeps them scared about all this stuff.
So you've got to understand how but most people aren't, they haven't been aware of it. Just because it's too confusing. There's too much going on. I got to take care of my kids, and I got to get dinner on the table, and I got to go to work, and there's too many things we're trying to deal with. So, yeah.
Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Joanne. Hello, Joanne.
Yes.
Hey,
Hi.
Joanne.
What's on your mind?
Hi. What is your opinion of a 403B? Many teachers that I associate with, we all bought those. Is that just another annuity?
That is a good question. It is not just another annuity. A 403B, they will typically use an annuity, but a 403B is very similar to a 401k. The only difference being 403Bs were set up for nonprofit organizations. So you'll find it called a 403B in schools or sometimes in hospitals, but just like a 401k, but that's a good vehicle for you to put some money in. They do use annuities. So they will use a variable annuity. The difference with buying it through a school, they strip the fees out. So you're not getting hit with the fees that I talked about inside variable annuities. Do you have are you using the 403B now?
Yes, I'm retired, but I don't have much in mine, but my daughter's investing heavily in that, and I haven't done well with mine, to be honest. Of course, none of the funds are matched, like a 401k or something like that.
Yep. You may want to have somebody look at your allocation just to see how you're invested. Or look at some of those index funds that we were talking about. It depends on, if you're retired, you may want to get a little bit more conservative too. So
And some of these companies just switch your funds without even asking you. Is that legal?
it's legal, but it's not right. So what they'll do is
one of the best funds I had, they switched without my permission.
Yep. It's unfortunate, but they will definitely do that. So
why do they? That doesn't seem right. They just.
Well, sometimes, and this is another thought, sometimes some of these companies get paid from the mutual funds.
Right.
And you can see it on I was debating whether I name names. I think I'm going to stay anonymous, but yeah, I'll stay diplomatic. You can look at different companies that are out there, and you'll see on their disclosures that they're actually getting paid from different mutual fund companies. So these brokers that are selling these funds, or the 403Bs, or these different companies, are actually getting paid from the mutual fund companies to suggest they put you in those funds. So now you're really not getting a fair choice.
No, that's what's so mind-numbing about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Tactical versus strategic.
Yes. Tactical versus strategic. The tactical way of investing is more from what they call, sometimes they call it a bottom-up approach. And so what that means is, we were talking about the indexes, and we could also talk about ETFs, and we didn't go there, but similar to an index. What happens is, in a tactical situation, you're looking to go buy a whole sector. So you may say, I'm going to buy the S&P 500, or I'm going to buy, or the money manager will do this, you may not do it. I'm going to buy financials, or I'm going to buy energy, or I'm going to buy anything. That's a kind of a tactical approach to spread some money out over the whole sector. Strategic is you're finding people that look from the top down. And what they're doing is they're going and they're going to say, okay, we might be in the financials, but I want to go look and see what the best companies are inside that sector. So two different styles of management, both serve a purpose. We're seeing tactical and passive investing kind of being the trend more so in the future.
And do you do a lot of, and do you recommend that people do a lot of just single stock purchase? I'm buying Coca-Cola or Ford or whatever. I mean, those are the blue chip stocks. It's more mutual funds now, right? It's all mutual funds.
Well, and I'm not even a proponent of it. It depends on the mutual fund, because mutual funds were very, very good 25 years ago, and they were a great way to invest, and it's easy, and it's a level playing field, but they're very expensive. They're tied to a prospectus, which is that little thin piece of paper that, is hard to read. No one reads it.
No one reads it, yeah.
So they're limited in what the mutual fund can do. For example, you can buy some of the same stuff through institutional money managers, but now what the institutional money manager does is he has the freedom to be 100% cash if he wants to. You can't buy a mutual fund that says, I'm going to be 100% cash. Most mutual funds now actually are less than 2%. I read that in the journal yesterday, are less than 2% in cash. Because they don't even have the availability to stay fully invested because they're afraid of missing the upswings in the market. But when you're afraid of missing the upswing, what else are you taking on?
All the downswing.
You're taking all the downswing.
So, all right, we have 3 minutes in this segment. I want to get back to the stress test, because this is such an important feature of your financial future and all that. What for new people who have come in, the stress test, what do you want people to understand about that?
To get one. We offer the stress test, and it is kind of, our first step, and it sounds proprietary and it's unique, and it is. But whether you get it from us or somebody else, you can get the same testing. It won't be as easy and succinct if you call us, because it's easier to do. But the portfolio stress test, and the important part of this that I'm trying to lay out, it reminds me of that old commercial. I don't even know which one it was, but I mean, if you don't get help with us, get help somewhere. You want to? Oh, I know what it was. It was the frying pan with the egg, and it was a drug place. Right. If you don't get help from us somewhere, you want to get help. So you want to find out what your portfolio is doing. You want to find out how much you're paying in fees, and you want to find out how much risk you're taking. Those are the three big things that you don't get blindsided with. Because if you're paying too much, or you're taking on too much risk, or you're underperforming, all three of those things could hurt you bad.
Because if you've just been working hard and you're just putting money in a 401k, you may not know what the fees are. You've been focused on others, like you said, kids and everything else. You don't know. No. And so it is important to figure that out.
Yep. In a few small tweaks, it's only hard once. It's only hard the first time. Once you take the step, and also don't let somebody bully you. All right, so we're doing the stress test, and I'm not sure, okay, we took the slide down, but please call us. The first 10 callers that do will do a portfolio stress test for free. But don't let somebody bully you. Don't let some advisor shame you or make you feel bad. Call. And if you didn't like the way that person talked, then call somebody else. And keep looking till you find somebody that you're comfortable with. And don't settle, because there's too much at stake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the importance of planning. We have about a minute left in this segment. What about that? What do you want people to take away there?
Yeah, you need a plan. Very, very important. We talked about the financial house. So we started with the blueprint of the plan. You also want to have, and I didn't get this far, but you want to have the foundation, you want to have walls, and you have a roof. Unless you're from Chicago and you have a roof. So I have a roof in my house. My wife says, no, it's a roof. You're in Tennessee. And I'm like, okay. So you have a foundation, you have walls, and you have a roof. Walls are the safe stuff, kind of like our buckets. So walls are, the foundation is going to be your safe money. Never ever going to blow away if a storm comes. At the same time, it's not very fun to live in the basement. So you can't stay in the basement in the foundation. You got to go to the walls. The walls could be, we talked about real estate investment trust, we talked about institutional money manager. You can put some bonds in there, middle of the road type investments. And then you have the roof, which is going to be, if a storm comes, it's going to blow the roof off first, which would be stocks, mutual funds, variable annuities.
But the best chance for growth. Okay, we have to take a break. We'll come back, wrap everything up. Be back right after this.